The playground was alive with laughter. Children ran across the grass, chasing each other with reckless joy. But at the far corner, beneath the shade of a maple tree, a little girl sat motionless in her wheelchair. Her tiny hands rested quietly on the armrests, her wide eyes following every game, every giggle, yet she remained apart. Her name was Lila, the only daughter of Jonathan Blake, a powerful CEO whose name commanded respect in boardrooms around the world. But here, in the small neighborhood park, titles meant nothing. Jonathan sat on the bench, his phone untouched for once, his heart breaking as he watched his little girl quietly observing life she could not easily join. No one came near her. Not because they were cruel, but because children often don't know what to say, and parents sometimes hesitate when they don't understand. And so, the space around Lila remained empty, as though her wheelchair built an invisible wall. That was when a voice broke through. "Hi there," said a man with kind eyes and a warm smile. He wasn't dressed in a suit, just jeans and a worn jacket. Standing beside him was his daughter, about Lila's age, her curls bouncing as she peeked from behind her father's arm. The man crouched down so he was eye level with Lila. "My name's Daniel. This is my daughter, Sophie." He smiled gently. "She was wondering if you'd like to play with her." Lila blinked, startled. No one had ever asked her that before. Her father looked up, surprised too. For a moment Jonathan hesitated, unsure how to respond. But before he could say anything, Sophie stepped forward. "I like coloring," she said, holding up a small box of crayons. "Do you want to color with me?" And just like that, the wall shattered. Jonathan watched in silence as Sophie spread paper on the grass, carefully placing it on Lila's lap so she could reach. The two girls giggled as they picked colors, scribbling bright rainbows and clumsy flowers together. Something stirred inside him, something money could never buy. He had spent years trying to protect Lila, hiring the best doctors, buying the most advanced equipment, building a perfect world around her. But in that moment, it wasn't wealth that gave her joy. It was a child's simple kindness. The sound of his daughter's laughter was so rare, Jonathan felt tears sting his eyes. As the hours passed, the two girls became inseparable, whispering secrets, sharing snacks, even creating a little game where Sophie would push Lila gently across the grass so she could chase the others. For the first time, she wasn't a girl in a chair. She was just a kid. And then came the twist Jonathan never expected. At one point, Sophie looked up at her dad and asked, "Daddy, can we invite Lila to my birthday next week?" Daniel smiled, but Jonathan noticed something, an exhaustion in his eyes, the kind that comes from carrying heavy burdens. Later, Jonathan learned why. Daniel was a single father, working 2 jobs just to keep a roof over their heads. Life wasn't easy. Yet despite his struggles, he still chose compassion, still taught his daughter the value of kindness over everything else. Jonathan was shaken. Here he was, a man with more than enough, yet he had overlooked the simplest truth: people didn't need his wealth, they needed his heart. When the day of Sophie's birthday arrived, Jonathan didn't just send Lila with a gift. He showed up himself, arms full of decorations, food, and a cake big enough for every child in the neighborhood. He told Daniel, "This is the least I can do. Because your daughter gave mine something priceless, a friend." That night, as the children danced under strings of fairy lights, Jonathan stood beside Daniel, quietly humbled. He realized true power wasn't about leading companies, but about leading with love. From then on, Lila was never left sitting alone. She had Sophie. And Jonathan, once obsessed with business deals, discovered a new deal worth every second of his life. Investing in kindness, in friendship, in community. Because sometimes the richest man in the room isn't the one with the biggest bank account. It's the one who chooses to share his heart. Acts of kindness don't need to be grand. Sometimes, it's as simple as saying, "My daughter would love to play with you." And in that moment, walls fall, lives change, and humanity shines at its brightest.